Hello everyone, I am Hiba Hassan from GFX Academy, and today we will complete with photometric light. What is photometric light? Photometric light is a standard light that's made by a human being. It's like the light of the lamp or anything that you really actually see in the real world. So we have here a scientific methods for these kinds of light. You know what is the intensity of these lights, how that's look like. So we can just import it inside Maya and just use it inside our scene. Let's see how to do this. I've created a very simple scene here, just using models of lamps in order to use it to clarify that kind of light. To import the photometric light, you can use Arnold lights in photometric light. Remember that these lights are for Arnold and these for Maya. So we will use the photometric light of Arnold, or you can just use that icon here. When you click the icon and just comment up here, and let's go just for our view here. See, this kind of light, as you see here, is just a very simple sphere that tells you I'm getting the source of light right here, and it will direct it that arrow. So you can use this sort of source of light just to direct it here like that, rotate, or put it wherever you want. So let's position the light inside our scene here. Just go to the face here, go down, down, down. I just need it here. Okay, let's look at the top. It's right at the place. Let's look here at the side here. Okay, let's go now. I need it here, maybe down. I have here my kind of light, so it will be just right there. I think it needs a little bit bigger, just like that, maybe a little bit small. So you just put it here like your lamp. Okay, now let's go to our render to have a view here. For what do we have? As you see, we have a black light, a black view. If you just go to your light, photometric light here, and let's have a look. Of course we don't have, because we don't have the file of the photometric light, because you didn't tell Maya what is the kind of file or what is the kind of your light look like. So you need to import your file that you can download it from Google using IES extension or photometric lights as a name, and just import different kinds, various kinds of light you can see on the internet using Google. So let's import our file here. 1 minute. You will find your file with the extension IES. Add your file type IES photometry files. That's the only light it will accept it. When you load it, you will find something like here, just very tiny, because its intensity is very, very low, as you see. So let's just increase the exposure a little bit. Let's make about 5. Yes, something is there. Let's make about 8. Cool. How about 10? Very nice. Begin to increase the intensity. I can lower it back a little bit, but I like to be 10. See, you can use the temperature if you want. As you see, you can make it about the orange, like look like this, or the blue to give it a very nice blue temperature. As you see, I think the orange tone is much suitable to this scene. As you see here, I have a very accurate calculations for my light. Let's just, because I do have two lamps, just to make it a little bit nicer or lighter, because I almost don't see anything here. So let's duplicate the light, just take it here, as you see. So now I do have different lights for my photometric light. If you want to see the difference between this kind of light and any other light, like directional light for example, let's hide this one or delete it. Okay, and let's just take the directional light. Oh, sorry, not directional. Let's take maybe spotlight or point light. Let's take the point light. I don't see it. Let's take it here. Just make it out, begin to appear here, see. So let's take it here, maybe down. Let's increase the exposure, 5, nice, maybe 8. See the difference here? Very big difference, as you see. So the main difference here, as you see, is the gradient, a very lovely gradient of my light is totally different from my Maya lights. It's not real, but this one is really real. It can be used in certain cases, because I have already some kind of columns that have this kind of light, but this kind of light is more familiar, and you really see that gradient at the actual world. So let's just delete this kind of light that I don't like, and just take the other light, duplicate it, and just go there. Oh yeah, that's cool. And I think, wow, blue is very nice. Let's make the other one is blue too. See? Wow, I like it. I like it very much. Okay, but some cases when you are using this kind of light, you are facing a very much noise at your scene. How that? In order to see this, but first I don't see my scene, I just see my light here. If you want, I can use another light here, just to see a little bit of my scene like that. But what about noise? How to solve this? To see this, let's just go here, go down, let's load this, and I've imported here two models to see what to do here. Just come closer, as if this kind of light or this kind of model would be lighted using the photometric lights. So let's apply it. No, what are you using? Okay, so let's render the second render like this. Cool. As you see here, I do have a lot and a lot of noise around my scene everywhere, and after I finish my render, I will see the final render in order to do something about that, how to solve this kind of noise when you face it using the photometric lights. I'll pause the video till it finishes. As you see here, it finished in 25 seconds. using all of these noise? Well, when you are facing this kind of noise using the photometric lights, you have different solutions. The first one here is to lower your intensity of the light. Wow, lower the intensity, so I have to make it really dark. Well, if you don't want it to make it really dark and you really need your intensity of the light, then you have to go to your render setting, Arnold render, and just go to your diffuse, because this light here, this noise here, it means that you don't have enough indirect illuminations rays, because you really need to make it higher. So as we know before, the number of the diffuse here is the number of the indirect illuminations, so I need to make it a little bit bigger in order to solve this kind of noise. For my case, I will not increase it because it will really increase my render time, and I have another place to go in order to just make this noise a little bit lower, which is just go to your photometric light here and just go down till you reach these parameters. We all know that these parameters at the default values are very important to just be like that, but in certain cases such as like photometric lights and these kind of noise, you need to lower the indirect illuminations volumes, because the higher the number of your indirect, the more noise you will see at your light. As we said before, you need to lower your intensity. If you don't want to lower it, then you have to go to your indirect illumination values and just make it lower. In order to see the difference, let's just snapshot this one, okay, and lower this light to make it 0.5. okay, just pause, and I need to go to the second light also, just make it 0.5. okay, and now let's render to see the difference. So every kind of light you have, you need it to be lower than before. You really need it to be about 0.5. Just wait a little bit until we'll finish soon. I think you notice there is a difference, but wait, we will see it in details. Just wait a little. Okay, now we finished. We finish it in 24, not 25 seconds. Okay, and now let's see, for example, at that area here. Okay, you see here there are a lot of noise, but let's compare between this and the previous screenshot. Let's see this and see that. See the difference here? That's before we lowering the indirect number, and now after we lower the number. So there is a huge difference, as you see, everywhere. So you can use these values and also the render setting diffuse values in order to just remove all of these noise and have a very clean, nice render. Okay, but what if you don't want really these default renders or these kinds of light? You really need it to be as real world, but you don't want to import files and just use it. So if you really need to use your Maya light, it will not be really accurate as we saw before, because if I just take this one, for example, just the IVR, and just import or insert a point light, Last, I'll just go here and come here, and of course I didn't see anything. I still don't see anything. Why? Very, very low. I'm sure. Let's make it about 5. Not enough. About 10. Begin to appear something. Nice. Okay, let's make about 13. As you see here at the real world, it will not just give you the direct light to the down and just be like that. It really have some gradient look like this, but not all the kind of lights look like this, because we have different lights. This really give a little bit of light around the lamp itself. So I need, when I'm going just like this, when I'm rotating here, I do have a light around my lamp and everywhere, just not real look like this. So if you don't have your IES files, then what to do? Is your light like area lights or points lights or any Maya default light will be accurate? In some situations like this, it will not be accurate. As you see here, it's really not nice at all. If we have here this light, where is my light? Then give me the option to select it. Yes, just like this. See, it's very, very, very intense and have just going down without accurate calculations. So in cases like this, what to do? Well, suppose I don't have this photometric light and I need to solve this situation. Then you make your lamp just the source of your light. Very, very simple. How to do this? You have two options. You can just model, give a model, a very simple model here. Let's go to my perspective and just take my model here and just make it a little bit bigger like this, as you see, and just go to my polysphere and of course make it a little bit lower, about 8, just not to be a complete sphere. Just take it here outside and let's make it a little bit. Just try to make it look like a lamp, okay, like this, and just take it inside your scene here or your model here, using the different options like this. Just go down and go here. Nice, I'm seeing everything here, and just make it a little bit up. Okay, after you give your model, just go, while selecting, you need really to select your model first, and then just go to Arnold Lights and Mesh Light. When you just select your mesh light, you are turning your mesh into a light, so now it's a source of light. Okay, when you go to your parameters of your light, I don't see it. Let's see here in my sphere, Arnold. I'm seeing here it begin to be a mesh light, and I have of course the color, the intensity and the exposure. Let's make it about 5 to see. It's not enough. It was hidden here. Just like this. Okay, let's make it about 10. Maybe 20. Oh my god, it's too much. 15. Yes, begin to be nicer. So in order to see the difference, let's be back a little bit. Like this. Here. And I need to see the difference between my point light and my mesh light. Till now I'm seeing the same and just consider that my mesh light is really appeared here, so I have light around my lamp or around my sample, my mesh light here everywhere, as you see. Of course I have a lot of noise because it really needs more samples, but I will not add these samples because I don't want to extend my render time. So if you notice here, I have a lot of light at the source and a little bit of light here around that area and more light going down, but here it begins to be around everywhere, and that's really more realistic for my light, for my opinion, more than that one. And instead of using this sphere, I can use that model. I have here a model of a lamp, this one. If you just select that model, you will have a poly mesh of the Arnold of that same model. All you can do in order to make it a mesh light, just choose mesh light from that pop-up window. Okay, and now let's make it about 12. See, oh my god, this look like the real one. It look like neon lamp. See, I have a light everywhere, just look like the real one. If you can go back and just take the both of them just like this to have a comparison between them. See, I have here the light, it's really surrounding, but it's not very intensity, high intensity, just like this. I have a clear white color, but at that area, and of course I have here more light at the wall, on the wall here, but at this it's more realistic actually, because it gives me the light all around my lamp and of course here, but it's not too much, just like this. So it depends according to your scene. You can choose whether you use the mesh light or your default light of Maya, according to your scene needs. If you really need more look like this, or just a very simple one look like this, it's like a very tiny or a small lamp, because so this is why it gives me that intensity, while whenever I give it more and more and more, just like this for example, oh my god, too much, still too much. Okay, it still gives you a reasonable intensity to your lamp. So you can choose whatever you want according to your scene, unless you choose the real imitating lamps. So all you have to do is just look at several references in order to choose the accurate lamp and light, suitable light to your scene, and just add it, and that's all. One final thing before we finish mesh lights, I really need to talk about or just to mention that you can use mesh light in order to give you neon effects. You can use the mesh light in order to just choose certain models or decors or logos, whatever you want, just to make it look like neon effect. It's really really nice. Suppose that I have that model here, okay, and I need it to be to look like neon, okay, and let's just put it here anywhere, maybe close to that one here. And I need it to look like neon, just to attract the eyes of any witness. When you are selecting, go to your poly surface shape under Arnold, and instead of poly mesh, just use the mesh light. When you go to mesh light, just choose the color you want. I played with this before, so I choose that color. You can change it as you like, and give it any exposure you want, for example about 12. It will give you a really full of light, but now it's too much, so it gives you that effect. So let's make it a little bit lower. Maybe we take it here, maybe we'll go closer to the light, see it here in closer effect. You can change this as you like. Maybe I need to make it a little bit bigger, begin to appear nicer, and just go back here like this, and then it will start to give you the neon effect, like maybe like this. At that time it will attract the eyes, as you see, and really begin to get it more nicer. You can change any other parameters using this as usual. Okay, maybe make it here less intensity to make my shape more pure. Yes, and just increase your samples in order to make it look better. Maybe just choose this one here. As you see, begin to look nicer. And I can change the color if I want. I begin to like it. So you can use this kind of light in order to give you neon effect or any other effects, just to give you maybe 2 samples, different looks. So every scene you are doing your lights, just choose what lights you need, what kinds of lights I need to imitate, what it look like at the real world, and start to do it, and start to choose what suitable light that will really achieve your aim. We will finish Arnold's lights next time, inshallah. Hope you like that video. Thank you and goodbye.